Okay, so this is the Hithpael chapter, and we want to look at the translation exercises for Rosh chapter 29. So I have that right here in front of us. Let's go over any questions that you have. Okay, let's read number 1 together. Ready? Vayishma'u et kol Adonai mithalech betoch hagan vayithchabeu. Vayithchabeu. All right. Let's start with the very beginning here. We have Vayishma'u. Ivan, how did you translate that? Vayishma'u. Yes, exactly. They heard. What form, what conjugation pattern is Vayishma'u? Say WCI. The yod prefix along with the shuric suffix is 3MP. Which stem is it? Which stem has a Keurig under the imperfect prefixes? I have 2 that do this before root 1. The first one we learned was the Kal, and then the second one was the Nifal. The Hithpael does as well, but it also have a Tav after the Yod. We don't have that. So this is Kal or Nifal. So what do I look at to know which it is? Nifals, imperfects, and WCIs will have a doubling dot in root 1. And a Kometz under root 1. Yippakade. Yippakade. Remember that? Yippakade. And this has just got a silent Shiva. So that is the Kal. All right? So it's the most basic form of the meaning for Shema, just to hear. So they heard. Good. What did they hear? At Kol Adonai? Okay, so it could be the voice of God, but what's another translation for Kol? Sound. You got to keep both of those in your head for a moment until you find out what the Kol was doing. Or actually, it may not be the Kol that's doing anything. Now we have Mithalech. Mithalech. Now, what are my 3 root letters here for this verb form? Halach, and the prefix is mith. So that tells you that it's what stem? Hithpael. What does the mem prefix tell me? It's a participle. The 0 ending on the participle tells me it's masculine singular. What does halach mean in the Hithpael? To walk around. So how would I translate mithalech? Walking around. Good. So walking around or just walking about. Now, it's masculine singular. So here I've got 2 things that are masculine singular. Kol is masculine singular, and so is Adonai. So is it the sound or voice walking around, or is it Adonai walking around? I would say it's Adonai, right? Technically, it could be either one. So, but probably it's the Adonai is walking around. Now, this tells me where. Betoch Hagan. In the midst of the garden. Okay, so this is all one big long clause, right? And then I have the next clause, Vayithchabeu. This is not singular, but plural. So it's not Yahweh's activity, but the they that was hearing over here. So they heard the sound and they did what? What does chava mean? To hide. Which form of chava is this? Yithchabeu. That is a Hithpael, and it's a WCI. Good. And the yod prefix and the shuric suffix is, not 3CP, but 3MP. So how would you translate this? And they hid themselves. That's right. They hid themselves. All right. Good. So up to this point, obviously this is referring back to the garden scene. The rebellion of humanity brings about a rupture in several relationships, doesn't it? There's the horizontal relationship and the vertical relationship. Man and wife, husband and wife, man and woman were in unity. They were together, one flesh, naked, not ashamed. And then as soon as they have sinned and are aware of what they've done, what do? They hide themselves from each other in the form of, leaves, right? Sewing fig leaves together to create coverings. The openness is gone. They had walked with God in the garden, and now they hide themselves from God. That's the vertical relationship. So sin ruptures everything, doesn't it? It ruins and mars and destroys. If you don't go back to the beginnings, everything else in the Bible really doesn't make a lot of sense as far as I'm concerned. Okay, great. The whole story of the Bible is fixing what was broken here. Any other comments, questions about the verse or the sentences? All right. What else? Which one do we want to look at? Number 7. The number of perfection, fullness, and completeness. Let's read this out loud together. Ready? Lo yithkaper avon beit hakohen bezevach ubemincha, or uvemincha. All right, great. So, why don't you give us a translation here, and we'll stop where we need to and go through questions. Mm-hmm.
I had it like all backwards. The priest's iniquity will not be forgiven with sacrifice or gifts. And I didn't really know how to organize the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Without how.
Right. Oh, that's okay. So let's start with the core of the clause, which is the verb. So yithkaper. Is there anything that jumps out at you that tells you what stem this could possibly be? Yeah, this tav with the yod, right? In other words, the yith prefix tells me it's a hithpael. And with the yod, is it a hithpael perfect or imperfect? It's imperfect. Good. What would the hithpael perfect have? A hey prefix with the tav, hith instead of yith. Okay, good. So hithpael imperfect. And there's no ending after the yod prefix. So this is 3ms. Okay. So what does kafar mean in the hithpael? Or what's it mean in the PL? Because we've got doubling in root 2, the hithpael is really related semantically to the PL and the pual. To atone for, right? So if the PL is to atone for, which is active, the hithpael, if it's passive or reflexive, could be the idea of to atone for oneself or simply to be atoned for, right? Now, what's the subject? I'm looking for some masculine singular subject. Now, I think your instinct here that the priest might have been the subject is right, but we have another couple of nouns here. We have avon beit hakohen. How might these 3 nouns be related to each other? What is avon? Does anybody know what avon is? It's iniquity. It's iniquity. Is there an article on it? No. Look at beit. You know that word. Is there an article on it? No. Look at ha-kohen. It's priest, and there is an article. When I have nouns strung along together where the last one has the article, it's possible that I might have a construct chain. And remember, in construct chains, everything until the last one is in the construct state, and it can't take an article. But if there's an article in the last one, it makes the construct nouns definite. Okay? Now, we know that the absolute form of this word for house is not spelled this way, is it? It's not beit, but it's bayit. So that is the construct form. This is a word you don't know very well. But if you looked it up or went back to your vocab list, it would be spelled this way. Avon, with a long kamet, a long A. Notice that this vowel has reduced. And that tells me that that's construct as well. Okay, so I do in fact have a 3-part construct chain with an article on the last one. So how am I going to translate this? The iniquity of the house of the priest, lo yithkaper, will not be atoned for. Okay? Will not be atoned for. Now, the last part that makes this a bit difficult is understanding the functions of the bet. What do you normally translate the bet as? in, but what's one of the other common ways to understand the bet? Yeah, it's by or with, that is means. This is a bet of means. It indicates the means by which the verb is carried out. So we would say by sacrifice or by gift or tribute offering. That is to say, the priests have done a wicked thing, and that iniquity can't be averted by then making up for it with these things. All right? So that's the idea there. Yeah, so with is also a possibility. So by, with, or by means of. Or through would be another way to indicate the means by which you do something. Like I could say, I wooed my wife through song. What does that mean? It means I used singing to do it. Now that's absolutely untrue in real life. I couldn't woo anything with song. It would drive it away. For sure. When we have sung in church, I cannot tell you how many times I have heard my wife lean over and say, bland. Bland. It happens so often. So, not a good singer. That's why Kyle has to help me with these Hebrew songs we do. Okay. So, but does that help? Does that make sense? Sentence works? Okay. All right. Other questions? Number 8. Let's read this. Ready? Amar Adonai, Halo Kol Haaretz Lefanecha Hith Hale Bah. Okay. So what does Amar Adonai say or mean? Yes, the Lord said. And then what he said is the direct speech or discourse. Hello. That means hi, right? No. What is that? What is that? What is hello? What's the ha on hello? So this is interrogative, hey. So it converts a statement into what kind of a question? A yes-no question. Okay. What's the lo? Not. So you could translate just that part as, is it not the case? Right? Is it not the case? Kol haaretz, all the earth or all the land, lefanecha. Yeah, before ka, you. That's the 2ms pronoun. So before you. Literally, le is to. This is the construct of panim, pane. Yeah, the face of you, to the face of you. Something's to the face of you, it's in front of you, before you. Okay? So, now let's rephrase this. So, all the land is in front of you. No? That's how we would say it in Spanish, right? All the land is in front of you. No? That means yes or no. So, or isn't all the land in front of you? Or isn't it the case all the land is in front of you? And then hith halech ba is what? What is the stem when it has hith as a prefix? Oh, hith pael. Good. Now, here I see the hey prefix visible for hith pael. So, what are the places in the hith pael stem that I get to see the hey prefix? In the perfect, imperative, and then both of the infinitives, okay? All right. Now, here, it seems to be functioning as a regular old verb. So it could be a hith pael perfect, and if it is, what does the zero ending tell me if it's perfect? 3ms. If it's an imperative, the zero ending is 2ms. Okay? Now, who is speaking here? Yahweh speaking. And who is the recipient of this speech? Not in the story, but grammatically. You see this pronoun here? It's a you, right? Isn't the earth, isn't all the land in front of you, 2ms? So what do you think is the most likely thing that this form could be? An imperative, second masculine singular, right? Because he's addressing a you in the context here. So I would take this as now this is just a contextual thing, right? Right now, I've seen the 2MS here, so I would say, maybe this is a 2MS imperative. Now let's see if it makes sense. Isn't all the land in front of you? Hith halech, imperative. How would I translate that? Walk about, ba, in it. That's a 3FS pronoun with the preposition bet. That makes sense, doesn't it? Walk around it. Isn't it in front of you? Walk around in it. Now, what if I did the perfect 3MS? Isn't it all in front of you? He walked in it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Not so much anyway. Yes.
Could you see that as the quote being closed and then the guy actually going to walk in?
Okay. Yeah, that's a possibility. So you could close the quote here, and then this could be the next thing that happens in terms of a narration. So that's possible. Now, I think he is gathering this from somewhere in Genesis, where this is what happens, is he tells the person to walk around. Okay, so as infinitives, those are dependent forms, so that we wouldn't expect them to be used as a normal verb, right? All right, the infinitive absolute could function that way, but there's a more readily apparent imperative possibility. Okay, good.
Just a question. Could the infinitive absolutely function like an imperative?
It could.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a possibility too. All right. Good. Other questions? Let's read number 5 together. Ready? Vayitchava'u ha'adam v'ishto ki yara'u. All right. Now I have vayitchava'u. The yith prefix commits me to what stem? Hithpael. Excellent. The va with the doubling dot in the yod commits me to a WCI. The yod prefix and the shurik suffix commits me to a 3MP. Good. See how we can pull that apart? All right. So whatever it means they did something, right? What did they do? I have to now look at the root letters and ask, what does that mean in the hithpael? What does chava in the hithpael mean? To hide oneself. Okay. To hide each other. Let's try that. Ha'adam v'ishto. The man and his wife hid each other. I'll hide you, you hide me. That is possible, right? But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But that's the reciprocal idea. One person acts upon the other, and that person acts upon the first one. Okay? This is not reciprocal, but what? Reflexive. This is where the group does it all to themselves, right? So they hid themselves. Each one individually apparently hid himself or herself. So the man and his wife hid themselves. Ki, because. So ki could be causal, right? It could mean that. And when it means that, what kind of a verb do I usually have as the main verb? Yeah, a verb that involves cognition. I know that. I understand that. And it could also be a verb of speaking, right? I said that, right? Answered that, all right? But here, we don't have that kind of a verb. So it's then giving us really the motivation, right? They hid themselves. Why? Because yara'u. They were afraid. What stem is this? This isn't a hithpael, is it? I just have, these are the 3 root letters, and there's a long A under root 1. What stem is that? That's a good old cow, right? Pa-cod. Long A under root 1 in the cow perfect. So this is just a stative verb in the cow. So cow, perfect. When it's perfect and I have a shurik, it's 3 CP, right? The perfect has 3 CP and everything else is 3 MP, 3 FP. All right, good. So they were afraid. That makes sense, doesn't it? All right. By the way, the word for his wife here is v'ishto. What is the actual absolute form of wife or woman?
Isha.
Yeah, it's good old Isha, right? So Kirik, Shin, doubling dot, commentate. Isha, Isha. Where in the world did this tav come from in Ishto? What does Isha have to do in order to add pronominal suffixes to it, like this 3ms pronoun that we have?
Becomes a dog.
Yeah, remember, this is a mater, so we've got to switch this to a different form, which usually is going to involve converting that commentate to a tav. And what actually happens with Isha, when it becomes feminine singular construct, to say the wife of someone, it becomes Eshet. It becomes a singular noun that's feminine, Eshet. And then it's this form to which I add pronominal suffixes. So when I add the O at the end, I'm going to lose my stress here. And then my vowels are going to change. And it becomes a short vowel under root 1 and a silent shava under root 2. Now I've got like 1,000 dots here. It looks like teardrops everywhere, doesn't it? Here. So a kirik and a silent shava. So ishto. So there you go. So his wife, his eshet, the wife of him, right? The wife of him. So hadam va ishto. Okay, good. Any other ones?